Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 18, another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. And as ever, if you need any consultancy, any workshops and all that sort of good stuff, find me on LinkedIn. It's what I do. First of all, we have the Bad Robot Report, and this is actually from Imperva. They do this every year, and it's actually led to quite a lot of discussion online, which is called the dead internet theory. Now, the report looks at how much traffic on the internet is bots, whether they're good or bad, whether they're malicious or whether they're trying to help you out, and how much is human. Now, in 2023, because obviously this year's report reports on last year, 2023, 49.6% of the internet of the world was bot-based. So that you don't need a degree in maths to figure out that's nearly 50-50. So probably 2024 will be the first year that most of the traffic on the internet is bot-based, and probably the majority of that is going to be bad bots as well. Now, it isn't equal across the world. Ireland, for instance, 71.4% of its traffic is bot-based, and likewise, the United States, 47% of all of its traffic are bad bots as well. So who is targeting those? Well, Netherlands, Australia, United Kingdom and France also get it as well. So that's really interesting, but it is leading to this, as I say, dead internet theory, which is what happens when most of, quite literally, the internet traffic is bots talking to bots or bots trying to hoodwink humans into doing things. How do you change your approach to the internet, and how do organizations basically just change their approach to make sure that they're dealing with the internet correctly? The reason I've got this funny shirt on today is, and probably I'm speaking quite quickly, is I've just got to go for a run. This is the RedBull Wings for Life. It happens in about an hour, or half an hour in fact. I better hurry up. So this happens every year. This is the 9th year this is run, and it's a really interesting concept, and a lot of people don't know about it, and it's a good use of technology. So it's a run, and it doesn't matter how able you are. You can jog, you can run, you can sprint, you can do whatever you want. Because the way it works is you sign up to the app, you give some money to charity, all goes to charity. It's a RedBull charity for spinal charities. And what happens is you all start at the same time, at the same point, wherever you are in the world. So 12 o'clock UK time. If you're in South America, you start in the middle of the night, as you can see, some people doing that as well. So you have the app, you plug it into your headphones, it talks to you, you then go for a run, however long you can take, and a virtual car essentially follows your path. Wherever you go, you will get tracked down by a virtual pace car. Eventually it will catch you up, you stop the run, that is your time. Some people can run, a kilometre, good for you. If you're one of the top runners, you run 69.1 kilometres. So I'm aiming for probably about 14 or 15, so give you a bit of an idea, but really good use of technology. If you didn't know about this run, you do now, please sign up to it next year. And by the way, if you're running this year, good luck. This is Boston Dynamics, and they have celebrated International Dance Day by revealing the Sparkles costume for their Spot dog. It's a wider attempt to make essentially robots palatable to humans. So whether we're seeing nice faces put on these things or costumes, but furry robot dogs, we're starting to see more of that, and you will see more of that in the future. Now, if you're in, for instance, theme park world, so Universal are already using these sorts of things and doing dance routines and doing little dinosaurs, for instance. So really, really interesting. But what they also showed is how they actually do these dance routines. There's a blog post all about it. And it's a sort of, you tell the legs what to do and then you tell the body what to do independently, and it works out how to do the dance itself. If you want to do, so for instance, you'll say, legs stomp to the beat, body just sway, and in which case it'll figure out what it needs to do that. If you want to be a little bit more precise, you use Autodesk to just basically put the limbs where they need to be in 3D space. But interesting, furry robots. This is RCYL. This is the new state-of-the-art in recyclable bikes, and I really like this. This is probably going to be the future. 92% of this bicycle is recycled plastic, and that includes previously metal surfaces like bearings, for instance. You can literally just use plastic on plastic bearings, and they last the life of the bicycle. And if they don't, then you just recycle them, because that's the whole point. So only 8% of this is metal, and it's pretty much going to be the brake discs and the brake cables and a few bolts here and there. Now, in this specific bike, of that 92%, 50% of it is old fishing net. So it does actually have a purpose. You can go onto the website, you can spec whichever colour you want, and I really like that. This might also be an answer to all of those kind of hire bikes you get in cities that you see piling up. All of the resources, the aluminium, the metal that goes into those is absurd. So this costs about £1,000. Go to the website, spec your own. It's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Also, and then maybe the eco tilt, this is possibly the third option for engines. We've been hearing about these for a while, hydrogen engines, but there's kind of 4 options for engines. Electric with batteries, you've got internal combustion engine using petrol, diesel, whatever. You've also got hydrogen, but it uses a fuel cell to generate the electricity to go into an electric motor, or you have actually using the hydrogen itself, like you would petrol, squirt it into an engine. And that's what AVL are demonstrating here. So this is their race engine. So how do you make motorsport interesting? If you're a really big fan of motorsport, the engine sound is a pretty big part of it. And electric vehicles are just a bit whiny. So this is trying to then give a future motorsport some sort of hope, I guess. So the engine is making a good dollop of horsepower, 400 plus horsepower, a lot of torque as well, and that is pretty useful. It's a 2-litre engine, I think. So this is it on the dyno. Those are turbos, doing all the turbo glow thing, which is excellent. So that's really interesting. So that might also give normal household cars a future as well, because you can fill one of these up in 40 seconds or so, 500 miles range, and all that comes out the exhaust is pretty much water vapor. So interesting. Also about carbon capture, don't know why I've gone on a bit of a eco rampage this week, but this is carbon capture paint that absorbs CO2. Now we've seen in, for instance, advertising billboards, you can use a titanium compound to suck pollution out of the atmosphere, but it's quite expensive. This actually uses a very, very abundant mineral. It's called olivine. If you crush it up, you put it into paint, it will actually absorb its own weight in CO2, and it takes about 2 to 3 years to do that. So viable paint, you can paint your house with it, your garage, you can paint billboards with it, you can do whatever you want with it, but it's actually trying to suck CO2 out of the planet. So there you go. It's actually on Kickstarter. You can actually purchase it. It is available in funky colors. There you go. And as I say at the bottom of here, if you are in advertising and you want to win a Cannes award in a few years' time, then just paint a mural with this stuff or do something with it and just tick the box that it's environmentally friendly. That's how Cannes works. And finally, we have the Tesla Cybertruck and its, let's say, limb snipping frunk. That's a fun, I didn't think I'd be saying that sentence today, but a frunk is a front trunk, or sometimes called a fruit, which is a front boot. It's what these electric cars have because you don't really have the engine in them anymore, hence the front bit. However, Tesla Cybertruck came with a self-closing frunk that also didn't have any sense of when something was trapped in it. So lots of videos of people cutting carrots and cucumbers, i.e. implying that if you put your fingers in there, something bad is going to happen. Now this was to the ridicule of the auto market because nearly every other manufacturer has a sort of limb sensing something or other pressure sensor. So finally Tesla have come up with a software update. So this is Judkins, YouTuber, testing it out so that we don't have to. And this is really interesting. The reason I'm talking about this is not that the update works, because it kind of doesn't. They've updated it using an algorithm, and in my opinion, they have overthought this. So what they do is, yes, it now, for instance, leaves your banana untouched. Great. Now, the thing is, if you put that banana in another couple of times, it will start chopping it like it did this carrot, because it uses an algorithm. So it figures out that the first time you put your fingers in the gap, it should probably not squash them. The second time it'll squash them a little bit, and the third time it'll probably chop them off. It's using an algorithm because it figures, like, if you're really trying to close it on a bag, it should probably just try harder and harder to squash the bag. Now it just makes no sense. So there you go. Tesla overthinking a software update. Who'd have thought? There you go. There you go. If you thought that was interesting, share it with somebody, give it a like, subscribe if you're not already, which by the way, 75% of you aren't subscribed. Give it a like, and I'll see you next week.